Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? It's your girl Tilted Halo sitting alongside my good girlfriend Karen Sims on this warm and toasty Tuesday evening. We are Unhinged Radio Live. That's right, that's right. Keep trying to tell y'all, keep an eye out for us, all right? We've been on a brief hiatus and we're formulating some things, preparing for season three as we prepare to continue to bring you the joy tsunami that you all love and need. So, without further ado, what's up, Karen? How you doing, girl?
I'm super excited. We putting the work in. That's all we're gonna say for that. We putting the work in.
Most definitely, girl, because this was all trial. Y'all know I'm not all that technical. I had told y'all that in the beginning when we first started doing these things, okay? So we spent some time this afternoon, or excuse me, should I say this evening, troubleshooting this here StreamYard thing to, try and make it look good for y'all because we actually care what we present to you. All right? So we're going to get into it. We got a lot to discuss on tonight. Of course, you're going to hear a couple of those segments that you all have become familiar with. You're going to hear a little bit of Merrily Down the Stream. We might slide off into a view from the pedicure moment. I'm not too sure about that because certain things rise up in our very shana-nas as we're doing what it is that we do. And, sometimes we just might need to pause and get something off our chest. And then, of course, we're going to roll right into that segment. What's really going on? And, of course, my favorite closer ever. You are going to receive some wisdom nuggets from my good girlfriend, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. So, we at the top of the show, and you already know I like to start out each broadcast as best I can with a good old-fashioned fan out shout out. So this week I want to go ahead and shout out one of my favorite tribe mates, Miss Crystal Pugh. Now, many of you who may follow me on my regular everyday girl page, the one that runs my real government name, you may have seen me note that I was able to wrap my arms around someone and reignite my own personal hug ministry this past weekend. Well, the young lady I was referring to was the lovely Miss Crystal Pugh. I'm trying to tell you, my local faith community, the Greater Shiloh Church Stroudsburg campus. Shout out to Pastor Selena for her excellency in leadership. We were able to have a community weekend. And Saturday was our Hope Fest where we had book bag giveaways, we had vendors, we had food, face painting, and jewelry making for the children. And of course, on Sunday, we hosted the outdoor service. And y'all know I serve on the praise and worship team. And I was able to observe our sister Crystal standing outside in all that heat and humidity, waving her handmade standard as her form of worship during the praise and worship set. And I promise you, it caught my attention because to observe someone who has walked through many things during this pandemic season, just show up and just worship the way she did. I've heard it said in my hearing that, and I'm going to use this, her worship was absolutely delicious. And from what I saw my sister doing with that standard she was waving, I know God received her worship. So I want to go ahead and acknowledge you, sis. Yes, I'm a real one for the Lord. And yes, y'all hear me refer to it as a hug ministry. Anybody who has experienced a hug from me, y'all already know what it is. I use a hug as an opportunity to exchange strength, to exchange energy with whoever I'm loving on at the moment. Because sometimes all you really need to continue to move forward in your life when things seem a little dark and gray is someone to wrap their arms around you and let you know that it's okay. So yes, God sent her a hug through me on that day. And I just want to go ahead and acknowledge her. She is anointed to create. She creates some amazing things with her own hands, and she actually came out with a T-shirt this weekend by inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So, Crystal Q, I love you, girl, and it was a pleasure to see you on Sunday. I hope I get to see you and hug you again very, very soon. You know, Tilted Halo is all about the love thing. Yo, Tara,
Yeah.
in the middle of all of this these past 2 weeks, your tribe grew. Talk to me, sis.
Oh, the tribe is multiplying. That's what they're doing. So I was able to welcome my number 9 grandchild. If I'm counting right, number 6 grandson in the mix. And just super excited for God's blessings and covering for us. You know, we celebrated a couple of birthdays. My number five actually had a birthday this weekend, or actually last week. And the day after, you know, he said for his birthday he wanted his little brother to be born. And just hours after his birthday, Tucker was able to join us, and so super excited about the addition of TJ while we await the arrival of the next. So number 10 is on the way in less than 1 month, as the Lord wills the stork to come through one more time. So, you know, send all cash contributions, because Lord, that's all I have to say for that. You know, they know when Mimi is coming to town and rolling through, everybody is like, Mimi, you gonna bring me? Like, wait a minute, it's a lot of y'all now. Y'all gonna get some underwear and socks when they go on sale. That's how you gonna get it. But super excited about
Make sure you catch them on sale, Karen, because in this day and age, every penny counts. Right?
And I promise, if it's not $9.99, I will walk all the way around the store for $9.97. So I can't help it.
Okay, and don't let me run into $9.90. It's a wrap.
All day
The
long.
one I got in my hand is going back on the shelf. I don't know about you, but that's how Miss Tilda Halo gets down, okay?
It's gonna get dropped wherever it get dropped. I ain't putting it back, but you know, we you know, I'm not the restock person. That's one thing I'm not. But I will make sure that the customer service people know that this is at a place. Y'all can go ahead and put that back, because that was not on the appropriate sale protocol. So that part there. But super excited for God's blessings with our family. You know, it's summertime, so everybody is up later. Nobody really knows bedtime. And usually I think I'm calling when it's like just before bedtime, because everybody will be sort of assembling together. Well, ain't no bedtime because it's summer, so ain't no telling when a conversation or some nuggets and words of wisdom or instruction will hit their way. But I promise their bedtime is way after mine.
Yeah, I can imagine so, because I know my bedtime seems to be getting earlier and earlier these days, you know, and I'm appreciating it, because not for nothing, a lot of us suffered a disturbed sleep pattern over the course of the last 2 years. And for a long time, I was functioning on 4 hours of sleep a night. Girl, bye. Yes, 4 hours of sleep. And I had to pray and ask God to give me some strategies to get, an extra hour here and there, if at all possible. And that's exactly what happened. My work hours have extended, and I promise you that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Because your girl is passing out these days prior to 11 p.m. And I'm grateful that my eyes are opening up more around 5:30 as opposed to 3:30.
Yes.
Like they used to. Now, if Father God touches me and wants to have a conversation at 3 a.m., of course, I am going to get up and have that dialogue with my Father. He's definitely waking me up that early to give me some divine strategy for the day. And I'm holding on to the wisdom to pay attention, because I'm telling you, he is ordering my steps, and there's some magnificent things happening. I got some great things to share with y'all. Can't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but stay along with us on this joy tsunami. The ride is going to keep going and going, and Lord willing, it's going to pick up speed sooner rather than later.
Oh
So
yeah.
I want to go ahead and move right on in there to our next segment. Are you ready, Karen?
You know I am. Let's get it. All right. Well, while you're getting that swig of water, we want to encourage those to make sure you stay connected, because what's coming up next is going to be fast and heavy. So, if you blink, we're not going to say you're going to miss it, but you're going to miss the beginning. And, that's always one of the things of we want to see it from the beginning. And all of the work that is being put in is definitely contributing to some great things that we'll continue to bring to you all, and super excited about the work and the advancement that's coming. So I don't know if y'all actually asked for it, but we know you want it, and so we bringing it.
Oh, most definitely, we're bringing it. And of course, yeah, we're gonna keep y'all engaged until we come back. All right. So as I've already swigged down my throat piece, let's go. You know what time it is, Karen?
What time is it?
It's time to point your remote control at your TV screen. Merrily, find something to stream. That's right, y'all. We're going to talk about what we've been watching on these here streaming apps over the last few weeks. Did you want to start it out, Karen? Because I'm going to go deep on my viewing pleasures of the last weekend.
I mean, mine is not going to be super, super deep. Anybody who knows me know I love my superheroes. So I got an opportunity to catch up on the Umbrella Academy. So if that is not in your viewing stream, you definitely want to catch up. I believe this is season 3 that we're in, and got a lot of topsy-turvy things as we follow the Umbrella Academy folks and all of the things that they were doing. There's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of ups and downs, some suspense that's in there, but all of the superhero, a couple of people is like, are you here? Are you there? They disappear and they're coming back, but super excited about everything that was able to happen with the streaming. So I enjoyed it. I'm an Umbrella Academy kind of, I don't want to say junkie, but I like it, and it keeps me going with all of the superhero. And it was a lot of, they kind of travel back in time and they're going into the future and all of the different scenarios, and they get into some mess. You hear me? So I enjoy the shenanigans that went on as they were trying to figure out, how not to end the world and to bring some good back into their lives. But really, it was sort of the focus on how do they reset everything to make sure that they're going back to sort of their starting point of where they want to kind of jump off from. So I loved it. It was quick for me. Usually that's one of my binge watching things, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. Yeah. Now, Keita, for you, what are you streaming?
Girl, I done got caught up in quite a bit, all right? Because that's one of my favorite things to do when I check off the grid. I've been gone down the rabbit hole of my television. And I recently enjoyed a legal presentation of sorts titled "This Is Who We Are." And it's actually an African-American attorney making his case against racism in America. And yes, he is well decorated. Unfortunately, right now, I can't call his name, but you have the name of the program. And I'm not going to tell you which app to find it on, all right? Because they're not sending me a check yet.
That not yet.
So, yeah, notice I said yet because them checks is coming. But I want you all to go ahead and check that out because it's a deep dive into the history of racism in this country. And it is extremely eye-opening, the information that this gentleman is presenting. And one situation in the presentation that really made me sit up and pay attention was he had a live interview with a protester at one of the monuments who was holding a Confederate flag, and he just asked him a particular line of questions, and he was, mind boggled, as was I at the end of it all, where even though the facts he presented in his dialogue with the gentleman, they were concrete solid, the gentleman could not move past the thought that the Confederate flag represented more than just the soldiers who fought in the Civil War. He could not really grasp the concept that the flag was also a representation of slavery and why that war actually happened. To surmise it, many of you are familiar with the history of the Civil War. What I believe they were in battle because the northern part of the Union wanted to tax the South a little bit more because they were generating more income. And that was primarily because of the free labor provided by the slaves at the cotton mills and in the tobacco fields. The Southerners were getting wealthy as the Northerners were basically still developing on their own moxie. So y'all want to go ahead and check that out. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's one thing that caught my attention. And as I shared with you off air, Karen, I'm not finished watching that documentary because there's so much information that this gentleman has taken the time to put together in making his case. And baby, he made a case. All right. And it's not anything laced with hate. It's just very eye-opening information that I believe that many of us can generate, and benefit from for years to come. So with that being said, I got one more to toss in there. Y'all might want to check out the Lincoln Lawyer as well, if you have not already. I watched that this past weekend and I absolutely enjoyed it. And I actually stopped before I watched the final episode in the series because it was that good. You know how you watch something so good you don't want it to end? Well, that's exactly what I was going through when I started. Well, when I came to an end of that, and that's something that I could probably watch again, even in a state of boredom. Like some of the movies I tend to watch on repeat, like The Color Purple now.
Well,
yeah, but allow me to digress. We're on the topic of streaming apps, and of course, you all see us making our feeble attempt to get this thing together before we take this train completely off and running. I got a YouTube page, y'all. So I'm going to ask you all to go ahead and take a trip on over to the YouTuberations and just find me, Tilted Halo, subscribe. That is going to change somewhere in the near future. And I will give you that information as it comes, as it's established. I'm not really one to tell you exactly what it's going to be before I've got it in my hand, because what I've come to learn is people, when they know your plans before they're laid out concrete and solid, sometimes they have a tendency, though not intentional, to send out energy that's not necessarily best. So I don't speak on it until it's done. And again, those of you all who know me in my personal walk, y'all already know I'll walk through hell and high water and come back, and y'all won't even know nothing until I come back and tell the testimony about how I got over. So come on, find your way on over there to the Tilted Halo page. You're going to find it. There's a few snippets there that have been uploaded previously. Shout out to my friend, Joe Jefferson Jr. for the great and awesome work he did with the snippets that you'll find there. And I promise you, we got a lot of great things in the making. I also want to go ahead and shout out the secondary ministry that I participate in, because y'all know we ain't nothing but a whole bunch of church kids around the Tilt and Halo tribe. Um, the United Christian Fellowships that I've been invited to join actually a few months ago, and I've been fellowshipping with them over the internet, and it's been a powerful connection. And I look forward to the work I'll be able to do within that global ministry as well. Y'all already know we finna get on all of your nerves. So, call your doctor, get a prescription so that we don't wear them out. We coming out here and the goal is zip codes and area codes. We serve a limitless God. So we're not trying to put no limits on the work that we're doing here on the Unhinged radio show live. All right. So with that being said, we got some time on our hands.
Yeah. I got
Karen.
We got a couple of things. I believe it's time for what's really going on.
What's really going on?
It's a lot going on.
Girl, I don't even know where to start. So I think I'm going to let you go on and toss the mic to you, Karen, because you got a wonderful topic of discussion to start the show off with, because we finna go there.
Listen, before we get into all of that, as we've already reminded you, we are in the Unhinged Facebook group, as well as airing live on YouTube. I want y'all to know, like, this is where we are right now. This is our summertime. We get the opportunity to remix the work that we've been doing. So we want you all to know where to find us, how to find us, and how to keep up with us. So as Kita has already mentioned the snippets that you'll find on the YouTube channel, I want to let you know that maybe if Facebook is not treating you right now, and you decided I don't want to be over there, it is okay. You're going to find us over on the YouTube channel as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, share it, and also hit that little alarm button so it will notify you every time we go live. We want to remind you of that. Why? Because there's so much stuff that we got going on, and the only way you will know what's the next move, bust a move, you got to stay connected to what it is that we're doing. Now, what is really going on? We got a couple of things. I want to start with talking a little bit about the Hollywood Walk of Fame that was presented to Jennifer Lewis. And for those of you who don't know who Jennifer Lewis is, I don't know, clearly you've been under a rock for far too long, I have to say that. Because she is Miss Everywhere and everything, from actress to singer to comedian to activist. Like literally, she began her career on Broadway and now and worked, get this, Keita, as a background singer for Bette Midler. How
I actually knew that bit of information.
I need you to know, listen, Jennifer is an icon and probably one of the most slept on women in Hollywood, aka also known as the mother of Black Hollywood. Y'all know her from Blackish. You know her from Sister Act. You know her from What's Love Got to Do with It? Listen, she's shown up in so many places over the years that you gotta take a pause to think about, how is she the mother of Black Hollywood? Because, honey, she everywhere. And so to be able to see all of that grown woman joy as she accepted and was presented the Hollywood star, and the people who were alongside her, Debbie Allen being one of those folks, honey, listen, my leg can't kick up like she kicked up her leg, but I salute her. We salute you, Jennifer Lewis, because you have a long-standing career that literally just is not going anywhere. More than 300 appearances in film and television. Come on. Like, this just goes on and on. Keita?
Girl, look, you said basically everything that needs to be said about Queen Jennifer. All right. I like to refer to her as our favorite auntie. I know in recent months we've heard Monique referred to as auntie, but I refer to Jennifer Lewis as Auntie, more so than Monique, because I can relate to her. Sis has a story, and she's told it and sold it. I believe she's put it in book form as well. So y'all might want to go ahead and pick that up if you can. Jennifer Lewis, again, this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is long overdue. And she is actually the queen of keeping it all the way real. And if the Lord continues to shine his face on us, we should be so lucky to have established such an awesome legacy of work to leave behind, so that folks like us coming up can take notes and see what it takes to get to where she stands now. I believe in one of the articles I was reading that discussed her receiving the star, it actually says that she says she's gonna sleep next to that star.
I'm mad at her.
And I could legit see her doing that, because that's just how real and relatable she is. So kudos to you, Queen. We've been waiting for you. I'm just waiting for them to celebrate yet another auntie of mine, Miss Loretta Devine. Yeah, but that's another conversation entirely.
Soon come. It's
soon come, because I promise you, sis is everywhere, doing everything. She stayed getting a check. I just need the Hollywood to give her flowers as well.
That part.
Because there's a whole bunch of these African American women that have been grinding in Hollywood and have legitimately been fighting for their place to stand in their right to be exactly where they are.
That is the truth.
Sure enough is. So, Karen, you got any plans this summer, girl?
Besides catching babies, I don't really know. See me in the fall. It's gonna be hot girl fall, because hot girl summer, it's too hot. Okay, so
girl,
here's some of my
hot grandma summer.
Yeah, because
for you, because you're catching these children.
That's all that's happening this summer. Now the fall and into the winter, when everybody else is hibernating, I might need to be, I'm not a snow bunny, so I don't go where the snow is, but I'm gonna find me some other type of sunshine when it get chilly outside. So that's kind of the plan, since I already know my entire summer is focused on me wide and kind of just making sure things are in order, as I make life plans, as we continue to work together to do this grind here. Yeah. So, happy to have the opportunity just to flex a little bit. I would like to go outside, Keita, but we used to hop in flights.
Yeah, and that's why I had asked you that question, because we need to talk about these here good flight delays that we are experiencing as the world returns to being outside in these streets. A lot of people are trying their best to return to hopping these flights to go to varying global destinations, and we've all seen and we've all heard that there are a number of different flight cancellations happening. And it's been alleged that it's because there is a shortage of staff at many of the different airlines. Now, you want to couple the flight delays in with the astronomical cost of flight, period, these days. I like to go home to California as often as I can, and looking up the cost of a flight to go home around my birthday time, girl, bye. Why was that flight basically almost triple the cost of what I've paid for it basically every year in the past? That made absolutely no sense. And I heard one of these insider type reporters on one of the morning shows I listened to in the morning basically tell it, like, nah, y'all are covering the cost of the staffing shortage and the price that they're charging for these flights. And I think that's crazy. In every area of life right now, we see that there's been a price increase. We're paying more for gas. We're paying more for groceries. We're paying more for clothing. If y'all know people that don't, mind catching things when they're not on sale, 25, 30% off, y'all paying more for clothes and shoes. And now we're free to go outside, but it's entirely too costly. So people are now taking to the road to go and get where they want to go, as opposed to taking that flights. And I know I'm a person who's missed having her window seat for the last 2 years. This is going to be a problem for me. Karen, what do you have to lend to this conversation?
The interesting thing is, one of the biggest things that we try to do in the summertime is, create those family memories. We're trying to stay connected to our loved ones, our friends, while, maybe work is down a little bit, other people on vacation. So we want to be on vacation. The challenge is that we're getting hit from all sides, and it's we tease because it was like, okay, the pandemic is technically over in the views of a lot of people, at least enough that we get to go outside. But now we can't afford to go outside. It's like, okay, we've been waiting for this moment for 2 whole summers. Here we are now, ready to go out here and just have some fun and connect. And there's so many obstacles. So we got the flight delays, and I get it. The challenge is that right now, every industry is suffering when it comes to labor. Why? Because folks understand the assignment that they could get paid by going somewhere else. The challenge that the organizations and corporations are having is keeping people employed at the right rate for demand. And you got to pay folks. Folks understand that now. They get it. You've been paying us far too little for the work that we've been doing, and now they're like, no, we're not going to be here for it. So yes, it is very costly, but a lot of this is just really a hike for that supply and demand. It's not that these flights need to be $1,000 or $700 to go up the street. It's the same way that you went 2 years ago. Now I get it that you want to, blame and say, well, gas is high, but gas is high again because of that supply and demand. So you've put a man-made value on something to say it is expensive so that you can get greater profits. One thing you're not going to see, although we see the stock market going up and down, honey, all of the CEOs are still making their money. They're still making their bonuses. Nobody is, not any of the big boys are going out of business. Now, we got to make sure that we're watching out for our mom and pops. For those of you that want to know how you can travel, some of us need to look near home and figure out, hey, I need to travel maybe 2 hours away versus you were hopping a flight for 2 hours. Because, honey, I need a trip to Miami, but I don't know if that's going to be in my near future with the airplane prices being what they are. But what we get to do is, okay, let's figure out how we can kind of crunch some things together. So maybe you have not just a one family vacation, but you get a couple of your siblings or some cousins and say, you bring your family, I bring my family, we're going to get a tank of gas, see where it lead us, and maybe we can, rent one of those home shares, whether it's Airbnb, Verbo, or whoever else that you are going with to subscribe to, so that y'all get a little bit of vacation in there. Why? Because summer is still summer. We still want to have a good time. But these prices, it's almost like we have to do like we did back in the day. We would pack our lunches, bring our water, find ourselves at the beach or the national park, and enjoy each other's company without having to spend all of the coins. So, we here for it. I'm here for the vacation, no matter what it is or where we are going. The challenge is, what are the things we need to do to make sure we can afford the best of both worlds?
Well, see, I love that you directed the shift on this wave of the joy tsunami in that direction, Karen, because we need to talk some penny pinching techniques during this season. I know, and I'm pretty sure you have this same practice as well. When I recognize that my money is getting ready to run funny, I start looking in my own pocket to shake out some change that I may have overlooked. And I have to, again, readjust the ducats on the table to find the money to do what I want to do. So I've become a penny pinching pro these days. To the point where I used to disregard the importance of using coupons. I used to disregard the importance of using my, store cards to make sure I got every discount that was available in the environment where I was shopping before I walked out. Now, I promise you, I am the eagle eye of the sale, especially when it comes to keeping food in my house. One thing that I've learned to do is to make sure that I don't run out of everything. So that I don't end up dropping $400-500 a pop in the grocery store, because I'm sure you can attest to this, Karen. $50 is only buying you 10 items nowadays in the store. I don't even know what that's about. So we just have to learn to adjust and move different to find the money in our own pockets. We often jokingly talk about the different streaming apps that we tend to enjoy, these things we talk about on the show, but some of them we have absolutely unnecessary. We don't need to have all these streaming apps, do we?
We really
I'm trying to narrow it down.
Yeah, but the challenge is the streaming apps have become the new cable resolution. So we used to spend all this money in cable, and we said, no, we're gonna divorce cable, come on back. But then now, instead of $100 for cable, we probably got $50-60 in streaming services. So
you're preaching.
Smart. We got to be smart. Also, be okay with starting and stopping. So here's the deal, okay? Some of us have television shows that only run in the fall. It's okay for you to turn off your streaming service and say, I'm going to come back and pick you up when y'all got some good things. Or if you know you're going to have free time in the summer, but the rest of your life just doesn't operate that way, that's 3 months that you get to pay for that streaming service, and then turn it off for the rest of the 9 months. Listen, we here giving you some real tips. You want to talk about how you can afford to travel? That my travel money is what I don't spend to eat out. So when I eat at home, I save coins and put them in a savings account for my travel. Why? Because y'all know I'm going outside eventually. It's going to happen. But while we're thinking about it, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Think about how you can take a few coins, saving them for later. This takes a lot of discipline, I promise you. But it's all well worth it. Why? Because we are here for the moments and the experiences. And honey, we can't do that paying all of the bills with all of the money going everywhere. So we got to be frugal. Some of us, I promise you, I live in a home that has central air. I turn the air off because it's expensive. Now, I got to make you laugh, Keita. My niece is now in the, bill sharing propaganda. She's at home with my sister, and she's of a certain age, and sister said you're gonna need to pay some bills. So one of the bills that niece has to pay is the electric bill. So niece now reviews the data analysis of the electric bill, and her question was, why is this bill so high this month? What made it go up? Because last month we was fine. What do we need to have to do differently? Now here's the thing that cracked me up. I said, little old woman live in the shoe, got one bill, don't know what to do. Okay. But I thought it so funny that when it was her money being spent, how about that, y'all? When it's our money, she want to know, what did we do to make this bill go up? Some of us have to look into our bills, because don't think that these corporations not adding $2, $3, $5, $10 onto your bill if they think you're not looking. You want to be your own best friend and have some frugal things. Those of you who are watching now, maybe you're on Facebook, maybe you're on YouTube, share some of your penny pinching. And Keita, I just gotta say, I don't want to call it penny pinching. This is us being frugal
Okay.
And respecting our coins. Like this is
We're
the
respecting the
real,
coins.
this is our real thing. Why? Because we, like I said, we are here for the moments and the experiences, but they cost. And so, when we go out here, we want to know what you're doing. So I know I got to get, figure out which one of these apps I'm not using right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Turn it
because that's
off
how you can
right
find
now.
that extra money
That's
to pay your water bill and things. And what is it about these children? They think that the money grows on trees until it has to come out of their own pockets. One of the things I've done, and to quote what our sister Natural D has shared in the comments, one of the things I've done to circulate the coin wisely is, baby, I ran through the house and unplugged everything that wasn't in use. And I tell you, that made a world of difference on my electric bill. And that's a tip that I got from a friend a couple years ago. I always collect information and just tuck it in my memory banks because I figured it's useful. That's a good idea. I'm going to keep that in my pocket until I need to use it. And baby, it made a difference. The friend took the time to explain to me that when those things are plugged in, even if you don't have it powered on and not using it, baby, as long as it's plugged in to the wall, it's sucking up some juice and they charging you for it.
Mm.
So yes, I've gotten down to that level of circulating my coin wisely. And even after I brew my coffee in the morning, once I get the coffee together in the cup, I done unplug that coffee pot. So by the time I'm done washing out the pot and putting it back on, the little stand, the stand done cooled off, and I'm saving on my electric bill. Thankfully, I have energy preserving appliances here in the household. That makes a world of difference, to make sure that I have some funds available to do the things that I want to do, as we were, discussing travel in the conversation. We have to get back to enjoying the simpler pleasures in life. I cracked up the other day when I saw someone post a meme, and the young lady was holding a sign that basically said she want to know how people taking all these trips can afford it. I felt that in my shana when I read it. How are they affording these trips when I've had conversations with people where they're telling me for a family of 3 to fly down to Disney World, it's going to cost them $1,200. And one of the family members is actually an infant. Yeah.
We driving. I don't know about all that stuff. Now listen, Kitty, you can put vacations on layaway now. And this is
Oh yeah, girl, you can put flights on layaway too. I learned that years ago and was passing that information out to whoever I was talking to, and I felt like they needed to be put on game. You can put a flight on layaway, so we can get back to.
It's a shame that we need it now, though. Like back then, it was just a added, kind of how can we use our coins wisely. Like now, these flight prices, they actually need to be on layaway because of how high some of them are. But we are here for you all to be out and, loving your communities and living life. Just make sure you're not going broke while you're doing it. That's the bottom line.
From everything that I'm hearing, they don't want to say it, that we're necessarily in a recession. They're saying that there are some pre-recessionary concerns at this point. But honey, the area I work in. I hear what people are going through. And many people entered a recession in their own households months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago. Yeah. And it's just, something that's really troublesome for me to observe in the state of the world. And speaking with a coworker today, we were even talking about how many of the local supermarkets in the area, many of their shelves are empty. or they're emptying and the products are not being restocked.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're paying attention, you're hearing these news networks every now and again they let it slip because we already know that our media is designed to tell us what they want us to know and what they want us to hear. So it, or at least that information is kept to the forefront, but every now and again they're going to tell you, hey, it's an impending food shortage. And it all ties into the supply chain issue. We heard referred to as, the snails on the water. Um, because we're a nation that thrives on so many imports, we are looking at a situation. So get wise, y'all. Turn things off. Karen made an excellent suggestion. Cut off some of them streaming apps when your show ain't being aired until it comes back. You can save yourself up, $15 a month? These apps are starting to be costly. You add the cost of the apps with the cost of the Wi-Fi that you're paying for in your home, you basically might as well go on and get cable again.
True.
But again, apps are the wave of the future. Natural D made a suggestion here in the comments. She said, run the dishwasher at night. Absolutely, sis. I know I've done my laundry overnight for years because it's a low usage part of the day. Everybody sleep. I'm the only one doing laundry overnight.
Yep.
I'll throw a load in before I go to sleep. I get up so early, it's still considered low usage, I throw it in the dryer. I'm saving money because everything in here is electric.
Yeah.
So, as you said, turn off that air conditioning when you're not at home. Or how about we just go back to the old time way? I'm sitting here sweating too, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see a little dew growing on my forehead, but many of us grew up without air conditioning in the home. I know I spent many a summer at grandmama's house stuck to that plastic that she had on the couch. But we didn't complain because what we did to get off the sheet of plastic separation known as granny sofa, we went outside to play and we got exercise. We rode our bikes, and maybe, just maybe, this is the universe's way to bring us back into that again. We've gotten so accustomed and used to these modern day conveniences that the moment that we're without these creature comforts, people seem to be going a little bit crazy or exhibiting a bit more anxiety and explosive behavior than what we're used to. So yeah, get back to the old time way. I think that's a good thing. Bring out the board games.
I like it.
Bring out the jacks.
Yep.
The Connect Four.
That part. Talk to your family.
Hey, exactly. Talk to your family. And then maybe you might be the one to stop someone from hurting themselves or someone else unnecessarily because you took the time to talk. Shout out to that Keno every Sunday night. Yeah, that's right. We used to play for pennies. Yes, get back to loving. Get back to talking to one another.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's some good stuff.
Now, I got to go here because, we're going to get on the pedicure after this, okay? Because I'm going to need something to uplift my heart. You all saw that I posted the article where it talked about the young man who unfortunately is a toddler. I believe he was 3 years old, who perished during a swimming lesson. The swim instructor, and I'm paraphrasing the article, the swim instructor basically told the parents that they did not need to stay during the lesson. And the parents absolutely wanted to stay during the lesson. But of course, the instructor, assured them that everything would be fine and it was the best practice for the parent not to be in the area so that the child, could focus in on the instruction and learn to swim. Well, somehow or another, this precious little baby found his way to the deep end of the pool. and unfortunately, he drowned. So the parents who were actually outside waiting in their vehicle for the lesson to come to be over came back inside only to find that his beautiful soul was with us no more. And from what I was reading, the instructor gave a refund and offered an apology. That's it.
This goes a long way. I don't even, Mm-mm. And
Yeah.
I get it because this is a normal practice. It absolutely is a normal practice because y'all know soon as Johnny would show a struggle, we snatching them out. We don't want them to struggle. But having appropriate supervision during a swim lesson is the least that can be done. Not the most. The most is you got 2 and 3. Maybe identify a couple of parent volunteers who are going to assist with the lesson so that all of the children have coverage. But have mercy on the entire family, on the entire establishment. And it's so sad because there's really no justice in this tragic incident. Like, this is just so much for any family to even think of, that you're sending your kid for an extracurricular activity. He was going to have fun, to learn a new skill, to be able to strengthen his little boy muscles, and he doesn't come home. 4 years old. 4 years old is what the reports are saying. And I have 2 4-year-old grandsons. I cannot imagine. I can't. And so we hold our families tight. We reminded of a lot of things, but honey, when it comes to our children, we got to be vigilant like never before, because just because it's a standard for somebody else may not mean that that's the thing that you have to do. So you got to investigate. You got to ask questions. How many people? What's the accident rate? Are you all certified in what? What are the things you certified in? What happens if there's an accident? What's the first aid plan that you have in place? These are all pieces of information that I promise you most parents don't think you'll ever have a need for, but it should be happenstance at this point. Like, y'all ask the craziest questions when it comes to some of the other things that little Johnny and little Mary get into. Please, please, please protect our babies and ask the right questions. And if you feel like that's just not for you, walk on by. Like, keep your money in your pocket. Honey, a refund? A refund. I can't even. I can't even think in my head what that would do to me. So prayers for the family, prayers for the business owners too, because this is definitely a hard ordeal when you have to admit in the worst way your unpreparedness, and just unprofessionalism, because that's not something that should have happened. If you knew you were at your maximum number and you couldn't cover all them children, somebody got to stay home. Somebody can't get in the pool. Somebody is a watching standby by for this week because we don't have the appropriate coverage. But to risk lives is just too much.
It's entirely too much. And like Marty Mark, he a lot of kids. And to something that you posted when I posted the article, baby, the posse that would have pulled up had it been one of my youngins, had it been one of your youngins. Y'all already, I hope y'all love us. Should that ever happen, y'all come with the bail money. Natural D, make sure you the bail money committee, make sure that you take up the offering to come get it out.
She's the accountant of the bail money committee, because we gonna we gonna need a whole GoFundMe page for that.
Our sincere prayers and condolences go out to this family who suffered this unfortunate loss and tragedy. Trying to prepare that baby to do something that many of us love to do. I absolutely love to swim, whether it be in pool water or out there in these here ocean waves. I love to swim and often refer to myself as a dolphin. And I can only imagine that drowning, it has to be one of the most terrorizing ways to perish. No, no. I like to breathe air, not H2O, the combination. Okay? Of hydrogen and huh?
Yep.
I can't even imagine what they're feeling right now. What is this? Restitution is the name of my game. But she got the bail money account ready. Good looking out, Natural D. We love you, sis. She's got our bail money on standby. So, girl, you know, we ain't nothing but some grown PKs.
Yes.
And we've experienced many a thing amongst us. As we've, you know, had our ministerial travels over the years. And baby, y'all already know it's time for views from the petty pew.
Woo-wee!
We got some views from the petty pew, and the streets is all the way talking about Miss Kimber and some of the comments she made while she was standing at, I believe it is Apostle Brian Card's church, because she said it in the video. Yes, girl, I had to track it down because she removed it from her Instagram page after the backlash she suffered because of her comments. She said a lot. She said a lot. But I think the most the what she said that caused the most uproar was she had a whole dialogue and basically was calling people ugly. Baby, wow. Check it out. I saw a picture of her with no makeup today, but let me get off of this. Karen, what you have to say?
Listen, we sitting on the petty pew. Now, y'all know I love me some Kimber. You hear me? That woman can sing up and down, but sometimes you got to understand the assignment, okay? Because she didn't come there for commentary. They didn't call her and ask her to preach. They asked her to come and render some selections. And so when you come in, you know the assignment. And so she said a couple of things. You know, she let the preachers know it was a Kim came with the big shades because she was throwing a lot of shade. And it's interesting because, you know, we here for it. You know, we here for the fun in the church, but we like to operate in beknownst love. You know, if you got a question whether I'm being sarcastic or if I'm really digging into you, well, you know, that may not be a what would Jesus do moment. And she said, now don't nobody get upset because I didn't decide which one. I didn't assign which one of y'all was ugly. So she said she didn't choose anyone to be ugly yet. That means that somebody was a candidate for ugly. Okay. So when we break this down, this is like a really kind of shaky moment because again, you came there to sing, you came there to uplift some hearts, and now people is trying to figure out, is she calling me ugly? Is it me ugly? And you know, a couple people is like, no, she meant their spirit. And if you go and listen to the minutes of the tape, if you want to be super spiritual, go ahead and get that. What I got when she said, because some of y'all hats is big enough to cover
it up.
That means physical, okay? Because a hat can't cover something bad in my heart, okay? All right, that part there. That petty pew, she the whole petty ministry. Like I gotta.
Oh, girlfriend, took it there.
She was
the whole. I can imagine that there was a group of names in the room because they all tend to flow in the same circles. One thing I noticed when I observed the video, I believe this young lady, she looked like she was dressed in some type of fuchsia pink, and she had some little hat type thing on her head. It wasn't enough to cover her face, and she wasn't ugly from what I observed. But I can tell you, it was written all over her face what she was feeling when Kimber went into the tangent that she went into and throwing out the shade that she was dispensing on that microphone before she hit one singular note. Um, she was throwing mad shade, y'all.
Lots.
She was even making reference to when y'all invite me to y'all church, I'm not as expensive as you think. I think she was gunning for somebody who might have tried to short her.
It was so much shade. You know, we walk in the light, beautiful light. Come where the dew drops of mercy shine bright. Listen, what none
Get
of
out
that.
shade, Kim.
It was so much, like there were pockets of shade. It was so much shade. You know how you go out and you go try to find that tree and then the sun come through where the tree is. It was like it was nowhere that there was no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when Kim show up because it was all shade all the time. She had shade for the pastors. She had shade for the, you acting like you know me. And I don't know none of y'all up there, but I hope I get a chance to meet you. That was shade number one. Shade number two was I'm not that expensive if you heard out in these streets. Shade number three was some of y'all might be ugly. And shade number four was really don't get upset with us because we telling you something you already know. That boy.
Baby, she brought the shade of a mighty, mighty oak tree during that conversation. And listen, I understand what she was trying to do, but we know her as the voice, not the comedian.
Mm-mm.
And many of our artists, many of our apostles, bishops, teachers, and preachers have taken to these internet airwaves to expand their brands, to expand their ministries. And many of them are starting to show that they actually have a sense of humor. And, we actually are led to laughter with their commentary, not necessarily the side eye or the noonch
Right.
when something comes out of their mouth. And, it just didn't sound very comedic coming from Kim, even though I think that's what she was going for when she had that little segment before she sang at that service. I think that's what she was going for. But, two thumbs down, Kim. I appreciate the apology that you posted because I did take the time to read that. But sis, again, we know you as the voice, and we've seen you sit in the seat of judge on that gospel vocal talent show. You were the coach for. We're used to you dealing out a little bit of harsh criticism while you had that hat on. But ma'am, they invited you to sing, not preach. They invited you to sing, not prophesy. And, as one who has studied the prophetic order most of my adult life, sis, you was out of order.
All the way.
You was out of order.
Yeah, know the assignment. When you come in, God bless, give honor to where honor is due, and go ahead on about your assignment. Go ahead and move on out the way, and then let the Holy Spirit usher in whatever else comes up to you. That's all.
Even in her apology, she was throwing shade, Karen.
I listen.
I was reading it, and because she apologized, but then she went and flipped and she said, "Now some of you are doing the same thing that you're attacking me for." And I'm just like, look, I'm over it. I'm tired of y'all.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, many of the people that have engaged in this back and forth with Miss Kimber, y'all are considered the upper echelon of the church, and y'all are the ones that people got their eyes on. And not for nothing, many of you all are the reason why some folk don't even want to enter the four walls of a church. Because they see these type of behaviors coming from people who carry such a heavy anointing or have such a great calling to minister on their lives. Now, allow me to add this. None of us, no matter what we profess or confess, it by faith, are exempt from our own humanity. And I am in no way, shape, or form able to sit in the judgment seat as I observe anybody's life while I'm standing here in human form.
That part.
So let me put that out there. I'm not judging her, but what I am doing is praying that she's more conscious of what she puts out there. Because again, from my studies, it's not what goes into a man, but what comes out of him that defiles him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. I'm over here just shaking my head because we
Yeah,
got
so we have to be mindful to lead with love, especially in
got
this day and age. We've got an uptick. It seems like mass shootings are happening as if they are a daily show.
yep every
And
single day
people are
now.
walking around here with a whole lot of bundled up emotions. We got to be careful. We got to be careful that we're not the catalyst for the next random act of violence that springs up
Absolutely.
anywhere in these here United States and beyond.
Yeah.
So,
A
with
lot
that
going
being
on in
said,
there. A lot
let's
going on.
get to it, Karen, because I need to be encouraged. I've been going through a whole lot these last 2 weeks, and I look forward to every single reflection of purpose. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It is time for yet another segment. You already know it's a reflection of purpose brought to you by our very own in-house master life coach, Miss Karen Sims herself of Twisted Threads. So, Karen, what do you have for me to feast on this week?
Listen, it's gonna be probably right where you at. You, for those of you who join us, we start with the title. Today's title is refresh. Refresh. And it seems like it's something so easy. It's like it's summertime, we get to slow down, but many of us are continuing to go 50 miles an hour in the midst of so many things. We got to take an opportunity, and maybe you don't need a brand new something. I'm not saying go out and buy a brand new dress, go out and buy a brand new outfit, but refresh what's in your closet, refresh what's in your thought process, refresh what you are consuming so that you can come out. We used to say that all the time. So fresh and so clean. Why? Because it's a thing when we understand that we wash the dishes. We talked about washing clothes. We talked about running the dishwasher. There's so many different ways that we can reset our mindset to make sure that we don't miss the next big thing. Why? Because a lot of us are looking around for the next big thing, not knowing that God is expecting for you to be the next big thing. That refresh gives you an opportunity, as we've already talked about, to get the download, to get the reading in, to get the meditation in, to slow down and evaluate the things that are in your life that may not be serving you fully. I'm going to say that again. To slow down and evaluate the things in your life that may not be serving you. So here's the deal. We talked about ways that you could penny pinch. Now you got to take that same mindset and think about which ways you need to pinch some corners in your own life. Do you need to show up for all of the ministry events? I need you to pray on that and see if that's God's response to you and saying, yes, you need to go everywhere. Or if God is saying, I need you to do 2 over there and stay your tail home and take care of them children and make sure your husband is taken care of so that we won't have a different type of reflections of purpose. Okay, that part. There's so many things that a refresh gets to do. Go and take a walk. Get to see God's pleasure and his beauty in the world. Why? Because as we just talked about, death and evil is ever before us. And it be such a shame that we live a life and not have the moments and experiences to say, I lived a good life. See, at the end of whenever the Lord calls me home, I want to know that I took enough time to refresh, to take the sabbatical, to sit my tail down so that I could enjoy the fruits of my labor. That's what we get to do in summertime while we're planning on what is the harvest going to look like in the fall. Listen, this one, I didn't mean for it to get so deep, but refreshing gives new breath to the anointing that is in our lives. And you know, one thing that the people gonna get, they gonna get this anointing, whether they wanted or not, whether they was prepared for it, they gonna get this anointing. Why? Because it's why we are here today. It's why you were born. It's why we get another day and other people are burying loved ones. It's why we get an opportunity to say, okay, Lord, here I am. Where will you send me? You're going to get this anointing. Why? Because we are refresh. Make sure you get yours. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve to sit down. You deserve to be loved on. Make sure with all of your loving that you get loved on. See, because I've experienced a hug from Keita. It'll change your life. I promise you that. And some of us need the opportunity to get that virtual hug from the people who mean the most to us, but also to get that virtual, that spiritual hug from the Holy Spirit, from God saying, I got you, daughter. I got you, son. I know that challenges are before you. I know that there's more month than money, but guess what? We're going to make sure that this works out for you. Put a refresh in your life and watch literally things turn upside down in the right direction and your happiness explode. We're going to get some joy tsunamis, Keita, one way or another.
Splash.
Love it. Love it.
I love it, sis. And again, that perfect. This is a season of refreshing. Y'all already know what it is. You keep hearing us talk about, I'm on hiatus. It's tired. All right. And what's that old good church song? Life is filled with swift transitions. Always. I'm sorry, I'm not in service right now. You know, I'll go there with an old time hymn, because you know I'm one of them choir babies from the pew, so I know many of them. So as we prepare to wrap things up on tonight, you know, get ready as we continue to grow, as we continue to build. We look forward to everything that's coming, all the gifts and the surprises that we have to present to you all, as again, as y'all don't necessarily see us as visible on, you know, the platforms that you come used to us. We building over here to make sure that we present with as much excellence as possible. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and close out tonight's Unhinged Radio Show live with what I always do. I want to go ahead and encourage you all to just be, but with such a meaty conversation, because we've covered so much in this hour, I'm going to invite you all tonight to just be mindful. Be mindful of the words that you say. Be mindful of the actions that you put on display. Because though it may translate one way to you, it can be received in a different way entirely from its intended point of contact. We got walking powder kegs out here, y'all. Be love. We've got people who are experiencing lack in a way that they've never experienced this in before. So be intentional about your choice of words, and be mindful of what you might be implying. You might be, sitting in the judgment seat that ain't yours to sit on. So be mindful. Be mindful and be intentional about being a good human. Because as I often say to my clients, whether it's good, whether it's bad, we're all in this together. All right. And it's easier to get by with little help from your friends. How about that? So it's your girl, Keita Tilted Halo, sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. And Karen, I think that's it. Is it a wrap?
It's a wrap.
All right. So again, go on over there to that YouTube page. Keep an eye on the group. This is where we're primarily staying engaged. And again, one more thing before we sign off, because you know it's wonderful when you got your own platform. You do what you want to do, how you want to do it. I want you all to just send a word of prayerful support up for the Rivar family. Many of you may have seen me post today. I have not received an update from my sister Pamela Carmouche Rivera. I posted that her son left the house yesterday morning with a plan to end his own life. And the enemy is trying to assault his mind to make him think that his life is going nowhere. But we already know the word that has been declared over his life, not only by his family, but by God, his heavenly Father, in whom we know he himself puts his faith. Y'all pray that the spirit of peace that passes all understanding surrounds them until my little brother Stephen is brought home. If you all want to take the time to go down and find the post, his mother so lovingly posted a request and provided his cell phone number with the request that you all send him words of encouragement, letting him know just how loved, needed, and necessary his life is. And we're gonna keep it funky. We're gonna keep praying for all y'all. All right. It's the Unhinged Radio Show live, and we out.